Frank Zappa, born in 1940, grew up in a family that moved often due to his father's job. His parents were of Italian and French ancestry. His father worked in the defense industry, which exposed Frank to chemical warfare materials, leading to health issues and a lifelong breathing problem. Despite these challenges, his family environment was stable and full of love. Zappa found his early musical influences through his father's extensive record collection, which included composers from various genres. He was particularly drawn to avant-garde composers like Edgard Varese and Igor Stravinsky. His interest in music was further fueled by his high school English teacher, who introduced him to the joys of storytelling through music. He learned to play drums at 12 and switched to guitar at 18. Zappa was self-taught. His unique approach to music was shaped by his explorations and experiments with different sounds. His early bands in high school allowed him to blend his love for rhythm and storytelling. These experiences laid the foundation for his innovative style and his future as a pioneering musician. Frank Zappa's journey into music was marked by a blend of personal exploration and the influence of early records and mentors who encouraged his unique voice. Frank Zappa was a musician known for his unique sound and ability to blend different types of music. He was a leader in the music world, always trying new things and pushing boundaries. His work is still loved today because he was true to himself and his music was different from everyone else's. Now think about Frank Zappa's many songs and albums. Which one stands out to you as the most important in his career? What do you think makes Frank Zappa's music stay popular even now? We'd also like to hear from you about your favorite memories of Frank Zappa. Your stories and experiences with his music mean a lot, and we invite you to share them with us. Stay tuned because we have many interesting, surprising, and touching stories about Frank Zappa to share with you. So keep watching to find out more about this unforgettable music artist. Frank Zappa found his passion for music in his teenage years. At 15, he was captivated by the sounds of rhythm and blues and modern classical music. He would spend hours listening to records, fascinated by the compositions and the different styles of music. His interest deepened when he started writing his own music and playing various instruments. A defining moment was when he acquired a drum set. This allowed him to explore rhythms and patterns that were unique at the time. His early experiments with different sounds and recording techniques laid the foundation for his innovative approach to music. Zappa's drive to create and explore music without boundaries became the hallmark of his career. Frank Zappa was a musician known for creating music that mixed rock, jazz, and classical. He also made several movies and videos. For those new to his work, start with the album Apostrophe, which has songs that are easier to listen to. Then try Hot Rats, which shows his skill in jazz and rock. His movie 200 Motels is about life as a musician and has his music in it. It's good for fans to see. Another movie, Baby Snakes, shows his concerts and has animation. It's a mix of a concert film and a documentary. These are good for understanding his style and creativity. Frank Zappa faced many obstacles early in his career, including financial struggles and skepticism from the music industry. Despite these challenges, he showed great resilience. To overcome financial issues, Zappa was inventive, often using unconventional methods to fund his projects. This included producing albums under his own label when traditional labels were hesitant to support his unique style. Zappa's determination also saw him pushing against industry norms, creating music that was ahead of its time, even when it meant facing rejection. His ability to navigate these obstacles not only secured his place in music history, but also inspired other artists to follow their own paths. In the small town of Bad Dobrin, Germany, an annual event called Zappanale celebrates the life and music of Frank Zappa, starting from 1990. Frank Zappa, during his last days, planned to create a movie named Dwell, which was to be a musical from the perspective of a giant spider, involving collaboration with the team behind Mystery Science Theater 3000. He was a father to 4 children: Diva Zappa, Moon Unit Zappa, Dweezil Zappa, and Omet Zappa, each of whom inherited a bit of their father's creative spirit. Frank Zappa, a musician known for his unique style, had several key moments in his career. One major event was the release of the album Freak Out, with the Mothers of Invention in 1966. This album is seen as one of the first concept albums, and it showed his ability to blend rock music with orchestral and avant-garde sounds. His work on Hot Rats in 1969 is also notable for its use of advanced recording techniques. Zappa's 1974 album Apostrophe gained commercial success and included the hit song Don't Eat the Yellow Snow. His peers saw him as a pioneer who pushed the boundaries of music. Critics praised his skill in composition and production, and his collaborators admired his drive for musical exploration. These achievements showed his talent and changed the way people thought about rock and experimental music. Frank Zappa, a name synonymous with innovation in music, was voted the 21st greatest rock and roll artist of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. His influence reached far and wide, inspiring artists across genres. One such artist, Wildman Fisher, even dedicated a song titled Frank in his honor, highlighting Zappa's impact on his peers. Recognition of Zappa's genius wasn't limited to the rock genre. He was inducted into the Jazz Hall of Fame in 1994, showcasing his versatility and skill across musical boundaries. The following year, in 1995, he was also inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, cementing his status as a pivotal figure in the evolution of modern music. Frank Zappa was known for his unique approach to music, often blending rock, jazz, and classical styles. He was a self-taught composer and musician who experimented with different sounds and techniques. His work often included satire and humor, reflecting his critical view of established social and political processes. Zappa's personal experiences, like his fight against censorship, shaped his music, making it a form of expression against societal norms. He believed in the freedom of expression and creativity, which is evident in his diverse musical output that still influences artists today. Frank Zappa, a name that stands out in the music world, left a legacy that continues to influence many. After his passing, he was laid to rest in a simple, unmarked grave in Los Angeles. His unique contribution to music earned him the honor of being the only artist to be recognized in both the Jazz and Rock and Roll Halls of Fame. Zappa's reach extended beyond music into television, where he appeared on the Monkees, showcasing his musical genius alongside other notable artists. His presence on the show highlighted the crossroads of different musical genres and generations, leaving a lasting impression on viewers and fellow musicians alike. Frank Zappa was a pioneering music artist known for his bold experiments with sound and satire. He broke new ground in music by mixing rock with other genres like jazz, classical, and avant-garde. Zappa's work was not just about creating songs. It was about telling stories through music, often with a sharp wit that challenged societal norms and politics. Industry experts often cite his fearless approach to composition and production as a major influence on later generations of musicians and producers. Artists across various genres credit Zappa for inspiring them to push boundaries in their own work. His use of studio technology as an instrument set new standards for what could be achieved in recording, leading to innovations still used today. Through his art, Zappa encouraged many to think critically about the world around them, leaving a lasting effect on both the music industry and its audience. Frank Zappa was an innovative musician known for his eclectic music and pioneering use of technology. Early in his career, he endorsed Hagstrom guitars, but mostly played a Gibson ES5 Switchmaster on his first 3 albums with the Mothers of Invention. In the 1970s, he switched to a heavily modified Gibson SG clone. One notable guitar in his collection was previously owned by Jimi Hendrix, which Hendrix had set on fire during a performance. The Zappa's son, Dweezil, later had this guitar restored with custom modifications. In 1965, Zappa purchased a small recording studio using funds from his music score for the film Run Home, Slow. This studio became the center of a scandal when Zappa was wrongly arrested. He was later cleared of all charges. This incident helped bring him into the public eye. Zappa was also at the forefront of synthesizer technology. He was among the first musicians to acquire a synclavier, a sophisticated and expensive digital synthesizer introduced in the early 1980s. This instrument allowed him to explore new sounds and compositions, further establishing his role as a leading figure in music technology. Frank Zappa was known for his unique music, but his life outside of music was just as interesting. He was a strong advocate for freedom of speech and involved in politics, fighting against censorship in music. This passion for free expression shaped his songs and albums. Frank also had a deep interest in education and the welfare of children, leading him to create music education programs. Despite his busy career, he was a dedicated family man, spending time with his wife and children, and often bringing them into his work. He wasn't known for big charity events, but supported causes through his actions, and music influencing many to think critically about society and their rights. Frank Zappa had a deep connection to a puppet show he watched as a child called Time for Beanie, which aired in 1949. This show was one of his early influences. His background is diverse, with his father, Francis Vincent Zappa, originating from Portinico, Sicily, and his mother, Rosemarie Collymore, having roots in Baltimore, Maryland, with Italian parentage. Fans of his music affectionately refer to him as FC, a testament to the personal connection and admiration they feel towards him. Frank Zappa was known for his unique style and the way he mixed different types of music together. He was always true to his own ideas about music and art. This made him stand out in the music world. He showed that being different and creative is a good thing. For those who want to follow in his footsteps, he would likely say to stay true to your own ideas and keep learning. Always try new things and don't be afraid to be different. Music should be about what you feel and think, not just what others expect. Frank Zappa once voluntarily gave up his driver's license because he disliked standing in line at the Department of Motor Vehicles. He made a notable guest appearance on a show alongside other musicians such as Gene Simmons, Willie Nelson, and Miles Davis. Unfortunately, his guest role was left open-ended due to his deteriorating health, preventing him from returning. In 1995, Lithuanian artists created the world's first statue of Zappa in Vilnius, followed by statues in Bad Dobrin, Germany, and Baltimore, Maryland. Frank Zappa was a bold and creative music artist who always pushed the boundaries of what music could be. He started making music in the 1960s and didn't stop until he passed away in 1993. His work included rock, jazz, and classical music, showing how talented he was in many different types of music. He was known for being very serious about his work, always trying new things, and not being afraid to be different. Frank Zappa also spoke up about important issues like freedom of speech and was not scared to stand up for what he believed in. His music and ideas have inspired many other artists and fans around the world. Even though he is no longer with us, his music and the way he looked at the world continue to inspire people. This shows us how powerful being creative and not giving up can be. Frank Zappa, a significant figure in music, was highly regarded in Eastern Europe, where he had a large fan base. His work with the Mothers of Invention was featured in a nightclub scene and other parts of a film credited as incidental music. Despite not being an avid reader, Zappa appreciated Naked Lunch by Williams Burroughs and often read from it during performances. Frank Zappa, despite being diagnosed with prostate cancer, continued smoking heavily. He humorously regarded cigarettes as food and tobacco as his favorite vegetable, dismissing widespread health warnings about smoking. He faced significant health struggles for years, suffering from urination issues that went unchecked until the cancer reached an inoperable stage. This delay in diagnosis left him bitter, and he often advised others to seek multiple medical opinions for similar symptoms. In his music career, Zappa was pivotal in the discovery and hiring of Steve Vai as his lead guitarist from 1980 to 1983. Their professional relationship blossomed into a lasting friendship that continued until Zappa's death. Frank Zappa once played a critic in a short segment on Monkees' Blow Their Minds in 1968, where he humorously swapped roles with Michael Nesmith, showcasing his playful side beyond music. His 1979 album, Joe's Garage, was celebrated as one of the greatest concept albums, ranking 20th in Classic Rock Magazine's 2003 list. Zappa's music continues to inspire, with new interpretations of his work, including Baroque instrumental and a cappella versions, showing his lasting influence in the music world. Frank Zappa co-founded Bizarre Records in 1967, an adventurous label under the umbrella of Reprise Records, founded by Frank Sinatra. Despite their contrasting styles, Sinatra saw the potential for profit in Zappa's work. Bizarre Records became home to a roster of unique and pioneering artists, including Wildman Fisher, the G-Tos, Lord Buckley, Captain Beefheart, and others known for their groundbreaking work. In a nod to his influence beyond music, an asteroid was named Zappa Frank in July 1994 by the International Astronomical Union, recognizing a Czech-discovered asteroid in honor of Frank Zappa. Further solidifying his legacy, Frank Zappa was inducted into the International Mustache Hall of Fame in 2015, being part of the first class to enter under the category of music and arts. This accolade was in recognition of his distinctive style and contribution to music and culture. Frank Zappa was known for his innovative use of the wah-wah pedal in his guitar performances. Instead of using it in the typical way to produce a wah effect by moving it back and forth, he preferred to set it in a fixed position, using it as a filter to shape his sound. Zappa also took a pioneering role in copyright issues related to music. He crafted his own copyright notice for his later records, addressing the issue of sampling before it became a widespread concern. He even released the first 3-inch CD single featuring a remix of Peaches and Regalia in the late 1980s. Zappa's musical journey began in his teens when he first played the drums. He then switched to playing an F-hole acoustic guitar that originally belonged to his brother. Attempting to replicate the solos he admired on blues and jazz records, Zappa's early experiences laid the groundwork for his later study of music theory in college. This foundation contributed significantly to his unique approach to music throughout his career. Frank Zappa was a creative force in music, known for his unique style and the strong feelings he evoked through his work. His music and shows were full of energy and pushed the boundaries of what was expected. We invite you to share your thoughts on his music and the influence he had. Your comments help keep his spirit alive and inspire others. If you enjoy discussions about artists who have shaped entertainment, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. Your support helps us bring more stories and celebrate the artists who have made a lasting impression on us all.